Hi, Juan. So I'm Dimitri. I'm one of the co-founders of DIY Credit. I have Chris here, my other co-founder here. So he built all the systems that you're going to see now when we do the screen share. I'm going to put you on game with every single facet and every single thing that you need to get to the first destination, which my destination for you is going to be a 750 plus score. We need to get to a 750. And then from that point forward, whatever other goals that you have, I'm going to help you reach them. But it's going to
Perfect.
require this relationship is going to require reciprocity. It's going to require the most obvious thing, which is the removal and the deletions of the negatively impacting items, which we're going to go over in a minute. But it's also going to require on your end the reciprocity, like the education, the coaching that I'm going to kind of put you on game with. This DIY credit for the price that it is, it's basically a free platform to help improve your credit profile. And then the meat and potatoes is the credit monitoring, allowing us to see TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. If you do everything that I'm telling you, I would even put money on it that within 60 days you'll be at a 750 plus score, which I
Wow.
know for a fact you've never been because I read this report like a story. I read it like a journey. I look at your credit limits. I look at where you've been applying. I look at what your deficiencies are. I look at your positives, your negatives, what room for improvement that you have. So because right now you've plateaued. You probably
Yes.
have felt or experienced or currently feel moments of frustration where you're like, I'm doing all these things. I make money. Maybe I'm working overtime. I've paid off my debts and I'm kind of stuck at the 650 realm, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're obviously stuck, with Capital One as a creditor and it's your only credit card. So my goal is to not only get your scores increased, but also increase the density of your profile at a later date. So as of today, on a Vantage scoring model, your scores are 655 on TransUnion, 653 on Experian, and 653 on Equifax. So that just tells me what? That we have great room for improvement. So our goal is a 100-point increase across the board with all three credit bureaus.
All right, so I'm Chris. I'm the other co-founder. Nice to meet you.
How are you,
Um,
sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. So
Good.
I'm more of the technical side, but I love to walk through items. So Juan, these are the figures Dimitri was mentioning. Your scores across, I'm like, which is they're actually not bad scores. You have old stuff that is lingering that is preventing you from breaking the ceiling, to say the least. So the first thing we want everybody to see and yourself too is when you started and you opened up the platform, it gave you a series of steps to kind of build a goal that you want to get to, etc. But one of the things that I tell everybody is the most important before you even start disputing is go to your My Account. Make sure you share the view with us so we always have visibility, number one. And number two is there's a section called My Documents, and I'll send you this afterwards. And in here, it'll ask you to upload your driver's license, a proof of your address, and a picture of your social security card. Why those three things is because when we go and dispute any of the items that we're going to dispute, the bureaus love to do what's called delay, a delay tactic, right?
All time.
They'll stall, they'll delay, and they'll use that as an excuse. Oh, we don't know if it's you actually disputing, etc. Once you include those items, when you create the dispute, which I'll show you right now, it'll attach those to those disputes when you mail them out. Okay, so the platform is very straightforward. It gives you the scores. It tells you to review your report. You click on review the report, and it breaks everything down into types of accounts. So you have your typical accounts where are credit cards, auto loans, home loans, student loans, or any other account that's not categorized as any of those, four items. But then you also have collections, charge-offs, etc. And they all fall into those categories depending on how the bureaus are reporting them, right? The profile also tells you have five negative accounts and 13 inquiries. That's the sum across all of the three bureaus, right? It's not that you have five on each. It's the sum across all five. So we'll start first with the credit cards. You have, some old accounts, in accounts that you've been using, and you have a lot of great on-time payments in the last, 24 months, but you have some lingering items from June of 2 years ago, right? These things are the stuff that we're going to allow the platform to attack. So let's use this first account, which is this Capital One, that has something from 2 years ago that was a one-time late payment. Maybe you were traveling, it's in the summer, you were on vacation, you thought autopay was on. Happens to everybody. You'd be surprised how many folks have autopay and the autopay glitches and it doesn't work, and then it puts them on a late payment. So in this example, literally all you have to do is click the Start Dispute button. This will pop up. It's going to ask you, the first question is, how How many times have you disputed this item? Have you disputed it multiple times? In this case, zero, because you haven't, because it doesn't show that you've disputed it. And then it says, please select the reason you're disputing it. You can say this account is not mine. I don't recommend that because it's an active account. This is yours. It's actually inaccurate. So you say the account is inaccurate. You can argue that yes, the payment maybe was late, but to be honest with you, you've had on-time payments for almost like 4 years. So this is a one-time issue.
Yeah, and all these disputes that are going to be auto-generated by the AI, they're all compliant with what's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is basically a checks and balances between us as consumers, the banks, and the bureaus. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, these banks are only interested in getting our money from interest. At the end of the day, they're only interested in what their bottom line is.
And it takes into account the history that we have in Credit Supreme, 10 years of helping over 4,200 almost 5-star reviews on Google. Like we've helped over like 70,000 clients fix their credit in that time frame. Okay, so like we've taken all that learning and all that and built it into the product. So it even recommends what you should select, right? It's 2 options. Inaccurate information needs to be corrected, which is what we're going to stipulate under the FCRA here. You hit next. It literally tells you inaccurate information. Any specific comments to the bureaus, you don't have to in this instance because it's going to get disputed as is, right? Click finish. That's the first account. It's been added to your draft. We have other accounts that we have to attack, right? So now it's no longer here. That account is moved. It's no longer red. It says in dispute. Now we click on the next one. This is an EdFed credit union credit card account. This is a collection charge-off.
Let's talk about the EdFed real quick, right? So when you send out these disputes, you're going to get this probably deleted within 30 days. Just because that the fact that they got paid, they're not even chasing any type of balance anymore. And it's the age of history is extremely old, which means what? When you have, even though this is a $0 account, because we both agree that you paid it, the designation and the status, as you see right there in black and white, or in this case in red and bold, it says derogatory. And if you look at the comments under payment info, it says collection/charge-off. So any type of collection that you have, or any consumer out there that has, whether it's $0, $1, or $1,000, it still impacts you negatively. So that's why using the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, as a tool, it's so advantageous because it'll put you in a position that, again, we haven't gotten to the point of whatever your milestones are, but these are restrictors. This right here, if let's say the day of tomorrow, you need 3 things. Let's say if you want to buy a crib, you need a down payment, you need the credit score, and you need the tax returns. You have the down payment, you have the tax returns, but because you're at a 650, the difference in just 40 points alone in your credit profile is a difference between you paying $300 or more or $300 less on a monthly basis on a 30-year loan. We're talking just in 40 points, a difference. I'm trying to get you to a 100-point increase. The difference in 40 points on a mortgage is literally the difference between you paying over $120,000 in just interest being thrown out the window as you're driving or not. So even though some of these things might seem very simplistic, they have very grave, either desired or undesired consequences as it pertains to your milestones.
We're going to dispute this one as we did.
And this one here, we're trying to get it deleted off all 3 bureaus. We're not disputing the late payment. Chris, you have to dispute the account in its entirety. Go back and dispute the account. Yeah, the account's not mine. Just dispute the account in its entirety. So all that nasty history goes away. And then after he's done with that, the only other things you have is an affirm. That's a $0 one that you paid. It's only reporting on Experian, which will go ahead and help you dispute as well. Another affirm as well. And then Synchrony Bank score, whatever, some closed credit card, again, in that same epoca in 2022. So these are the things that happened then that they're still impacting you years later. And now that you have the hardest thing accomplished, which is looking under the hood, now you're in a position where you can literally press a few buttons here, have the disputes auto-generated, print it out, put it in an envelope, drop it to USPS, deal with a little bit of their attitude when you get there, call it a day. And then from that point forward, your score starts increasing. And then that's half of the battle. The other half is the maintenance of the positive items in which you have. So again, I read the report like a story. I see that either on Credit Karma or Experian, you press something with Cortland to go ahead and start reporting your rent beginning in January. You did that and your score maybe had increased this much. So the following feedback that I'm going to give you is basically going to be your homework moving forward, because As an example, when it comes to personal credit, the most important thing with personal credit is credit cards, aka revolving sources of debt.
Mhm.
Credit cards are 65% of my score. All of you gentlemen on the call score as well. So that means 65% of my thought process is predicated around how many credit cards you have, the age of history, who you're in a relationship with, what's your balance or your utilization, what's your credit limit, how much money have they given you access to, what's your payment history. So let's talk about the reality of the situation and zoom out for a moment in time. You have one credit card under your name, which is what's called a primary trade line. And then you have one as a secondary trade line, which is an authorized user, which I'll get into in a few seconds. Your Capital One, you've had it for 5 years. You're doing awesome. Your limit is 4,000. It's definitely not the stars and the moon, but you've been in the game long enough where you've seen, you've felt, and you've experienced that when your credit card balances go up, your scores go down. When your credit card balances go down, your scores go up. So the reason why, again, I keep harping on the fact this is a perfect profile is because today's the 29th of the month. Most credit cards, for the most part, report in the beginning of the month. So to be more specific, you have two different types of dates. You have a bill due date and a statement closing date. This Capital One reports religiously on the third of every month. So what I want to do in a perfect world is going to be what? That limit is $4,000. People in the streets, again, breaking these myths and getting you away from the things that you see on social media. People in the streets tell you 30%, 30%, 30%. Get that away from you as much as possible. The sweet spot that you want to be at is between 5 and 7%. So to grab all of this feedback that I'm giving you and to put into a nice little bow, what I would love in a perfect world is on the 31st or the 1st of August, what I would want is for you to grab that balance and lower it to $200.
I can
Not
put it
to
at zero
zero.
tomorrow, honestly.
No, not to zero. And the reason why not to zero is because there's a term which you can Google. It's called high side override, meaning what? If I'm a bank and I pull Juan's credit and he has 5 credit cards and they're all at zero, and I'm in the business of making interest and making money off of people on points, and he doesn't have any balances on any credit cards, that shows me
Makes
he's
sense.
not using his credit.
Yeah.
So I want you to lower that balance to just $200.
Okay, I can do
Just
that.
lower it to $200 on the first of the month and don't touch it for 3 days. After
Okay.
that, I want you to use it as religious as possible. Never touch your debit card again. Never touch cash again for a plethora of reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. But lower to that, your score is going to immediately increase. That's number one. The second thing is the authorized user that you have, which is the Bank of America. So
Uh,
this is something where now I'm gonna hit the tennis ball back to you, and I'm gonna ask you an open-ended question. Whose credit card is it? So I can kind of understand the dynamics behind it.
my mom, she put
Okay,
authorized user. I don't know.
got it. So what happens is going back to the whole balances are high, scores drop, balances are low, scores increase. The reality of the situation is your mom right now has a balance of $5,000 and the
Mhm.
limit is 6,000. So the utilization is at 80%.
Yeah.
Again, I want you in a perfect world at 5%. So your Capital One at the end of the day has already 5 years age of history. This Bank of America has only been open for 3 years. So you have two options. And these only two options. Either A, remove yourself as an authorized user, and you'll see that reflecting on the 15th of August. Or B, stay on there, but she has to lower the balance to $300.
Let me ask you a question. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
If I remove myself from user and that reports on the 15th, my score is going to go up or no? It's not going to affect my score
it's
at all.
going to go up. It's going to go up.
Okay.
It's going to go up. And so what happens is too, and this is just some education for you and for mom. These products can be a personal line of credit, business line of credit, personal credit card, business credit card. Products have certain, as an example with the credit cards, they have certain introductory offers. Let's say 0% for 15 months, 18 months, 21 months, 24 months, whatever. The Bank of America is already 3 years old. The Capital One is 5 years old, which means every single month that you guys are carrying balances, and if you want to throw up, go look at your statement and look at the little portion that says interest. They're cooking you every month on any balance that you're carrying at 30%. And I was with one of my bankers today from TD Bank. Now the banks are going to slowly bring up the interest rates up to 34% on credit cards. That's the reality and the economy that we live in right now. And it's always important to have what I call these crucial conversations so you can be in a position where you're understanding this from very layman's terms, because the common denominator on this call is I didn't learn this in school and then become like a master. No, I became a master because I've only dedicated my life to this for the past 10 years. So If your mom can bring that down, that's going to help her from an interest perspective as well, but it'll also help you increase your score. That's option one. Option two, just remove yourself. And from that point forward, if you need high limit credit cards, Chris and I literally have bankers, and you can ask Julio as well. We've done it for all his homies. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Truist, PNC, TD Bank, Flagstar, I Think Financial. So getting you high limit access to credit on 0% terms is a walk in the park for us. This profile prepping that we're doing right now and this conversation, the one that's based off of reciprocity, if you do your part and the disputes do their part, that's when they come together, and then you have that byproduct of the 750 plus score. So it's a decision that you have to make, but on mom's credit, on mom's Bank of America, that doesn't report on the first of the month. That reports on the 15th of every month, which means if she's going to remove you or she's going to lower it, she has to lower it by the 13th, or if she's going to remove you, just have her remove you right now. Have her literally remove you right now, because you don't want that continued high balance to hit you with the suffocation and decrease your score.
Yeah.
And if you can compound that again with the inquiry removals, the collection removals that Chris is doing, that's when you're in a position where you can, and I have tons of case studies where just because of timing and circumstances, you'll see these very dramatic shifts in your score within 30 days. And it kind of feels like magic. It seems like this, that, and the other, but it's just a few movements here and a few movements there. We're not looking at a profile where I need to be walking around with a sledgehammer, knocking down all the walls, creating a new foundation.
Yeah, that was mine.
That was maybe Julio's.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. My financial literacy, when it comes to credit, when it comes to is terrible. I mean, I remember when I first got a credit card, I went to Disney for a weekend and I didn't know my credit limit or anything. It wasn't until the card rejected at a store that I was
yeah.
I thought I was playing with Monopoly money. I mean, it just goes to show how little I knew at the time. And now that I'm like older and I want to buy a house, I want to start doing all these things. Credit is everything. If your credit score is not there, you're cooked.
That's why the emphasis is so heavily based off of the credit cards. And if you need more understanding as to why, it's because of the following. Every single day, the credit bureaus are selling your information. So if they're in a position where your profile or your balances are not low where they need to be at, what'll happen is they're not going to get you those pre-approvals or those marketing campaigns that, like, for instance, I get all the time or Chris gets, because our scores are always at 800. So when you start making these maneuvers, you start having a lot of these aha moments. And then to get non-linear for a second, to get just more like, a bit emotional, brother, when you log into your Credit Karma or you're logging into your Experian and you're seeing 750 every single day, it hits different. You're walking around different because when it comes time to go get your next whip, you're not going to have to wonder, oh, am I going to get approved? Oh, am I going to get the best rate? When it comes time for you to buy the house, now you're in a position where you can walk with your chest a little bit out because you already did the hardest part. That's the reason why we're very, very big on telling clients what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, just based off of objectivity, nothing else.
So once we selected the items and we initiate the dispute, the next step is you come here to the dispute hub. So we were looking at the credit report, right? Etc. Then I just came here to the dispute hub, or you can click here where it says draft letters. Both are in the same section. So you'll see all the accounts that we are going to be disputing, and you hit generate dispute letters. Literally, it tells you your disputes are ready to be turned in, blah, blah, blah. It's asking you what I told you in the beginning of the call is you're going to need a copy of your photo ID, proof of your social security and proof of your current address, right? I'll hit continue just for the sake of this. And that's it. Your letters are literally generated. We can view them here so you can see what they look like. I'm going to breeze by and just showcase that everything is drafted for you. You can continue, and there's a better option. You can either print them out yourself, go to the post office, which is something I do not recommend because you're going to get tried out by everybody. You have to put these in the right letters and stuff, or you can mail them directly from the system. Literally, for $9, it's going to send all the letters for you.
Wow.
And it's going to track that it was received. And in 30 days, you're going to get an updated report, and it's going to showcase what is coming off and what's been responded to. Everything is baked into the system. So, if you were to do it, you can select a cheaper option. To be honest with you, we always recommend at the minimum first class. We actually recommend certified because they sign that they receive it, right? But in your case, your stuff is old,
It's
so
old,
like
bro. It's
the
old.
first class is going to be perfect. At least you'll get tracking with it, and you'll get proof that it was received. And then
Mm.
at that point, the clock starts. So every bureau has 30 to 40 days to 45 days to respond to your dispute. What happens if they don't respond in that time frame? You can literally call the bureau and be like, "Hey, I have proof that you received this letter 46 days ago, let's say, for example, and we'll do that for you in this scenario because we're working with you directly. You can call the bureau, we'll call, and then we literally get the stuff removed on that phone call because they by law had to reply, they never responded. So
God.
the stall tactic we spoke about in the beginning of the call is the way that they get circumvent that FCRA law, right? Is they'll send
Mm.
you like a stall letter to act like they didn't get your information, even though it's literally appended. Guess what? The second time we send a dispute, they can't do that. So they have to respond, and normally they do, but I'm going to tell you in a lot of percentages they don't, especially when it's something this old. It's probably going to get removed in that first 30, 60 days. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Okay.
what we'll do, Juan, is also just, as a gesture of appreciation, as a thank you from Chris and myself to you. We'll double down these efforts by, and this is something that we only do for full service, credit consulting or credit repair clients. What I'll do is we'll grab the disputes that the system has generated, and I'll have Jules give us your number. We'll do a group chat on WhatsApp, and
Mm.
we'll have one of our staff members grab the disputes and digitally upload them on Experian. Grab the disputes, digitally
Thank
upload
you. I
them on
appreciate that.
TransUnion, and
Thank you.
have the disputes and digitally upload them on Equifax. The point is that we need to get you across the finish line. And honestly, brother, like because of the timing and like if you had collections from a month ago, if you had collections from a year ago, if you had a repossession, a bankruptcy, child support, late payments that were very recent, this conversation, the temperature would be much different than it is right now. But because of what it is in front of me, bro, I'm telling you, I've just been doing this long enough where I put money on it. You probably be at a 750, bro, minimum 60 days, but probably even 30 days, especially with the balance lowering assignments, removing yourself as an authorized user, the disputes working to remove inquiries that did not translate to active accounts, the removal of these accounts that are bringing you down for no reason, that are collection slash charge off, that are from 5, 6 years ago, 4 years ago. So this is a beautiful profile and canvas that I'm looking at right now. And then
Mm.
from that point forward, the interest point needs to be, how do I get my first high limit 10, 15, $20,000 credit card? We got you. How do I get my
Awesome.
first house whenever you're ready? Hey, if you don't have a realtor or mortgage broker, we have a ton of them that we work with. We can recommend you, whatever. But the point is, once you have your profile to where it needs to be at, that's the first door. Once you reach a 750, that's the first door in this proverbial multiverse. It's the
Yeah.
first door that you open, and then you can start achieving mastery in different places. You can start getting different products like high limit credit cards that are 0% for almost 2 years. You can start getting mixed accounts like personal loans, and you can start putting yourself in a position where you are literally and unilaterally using my three favorite letters in the alphabet, OPM, other people's money. And you're in a position where you're outperforming the interest rates because you're not getting cooked on 30% on a monthly basis. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it is one of these things that you hear the emotion in Chris's voice and because bro, we really, really love doing this. And then seeing people when they're taking a picture in front of their new house, when they're taking a picture of their new house, of their new car, when they're able to get $100,000 in business funding, but just off of appointments that we're setting with Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Like I tell everybody, you're not meeting up one of my homies in LA Fitness with a bag of cash. Like we have all the bankers at the tier one banks. They're waiting.
Um,
They're waiting for us to send more clients, but we only send clients over when the profile is ready. And
mhm.
these are the type of crucial conversations that we have this huddle once. All right, huddle's broken up. You do your work, we do our work, and then now you're in a position where, bro, you're flying high.
And then Juan, so I undid the generate dispute letters so that when you get home,
I can upload the documents.
yeah, when you get home, you just come to your My Accounts, you literally go to My Documents, boom, you upload that, you're in a good spot, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then you just come back to the dispute hub. Here is the third option, not that many options in this platform on purpose. You click on generate dispute letters. It's going to ask you, make sure you've uploaded these things. You hit continue, and then it'll generate the letters. Then you can mail them. Let us know when you do that. We'll get the letters and that you generated, and then we'll upload them as well.
Nice.
After
Thank you.
that, and
Thank you.
that's it, brother. Like the system will do its magic. You pay the $9, have the thing, it'll mail it for you directly, and then all you do is monitor. You'll get alerts from the platform The next update will be 30 days from today.
Okay.
And it'll automatically pull the update. It'll probably ask you to log in, refresh your report, and then you'll see some movement on there. So
Okay.
3 things that you need to do. The first is whenever you get home, upload those documents.
Mhm.
The second, which is also important, is have a conversation with your mom. If you're going to remove yourself from that authorized user,
Mhm.
have her do that tomorrow. And
Mhm.
just give us a thumbs up or a confirmation that you've done it. And we'll monitor that the account removes from your profile. And the third thing is always log into this platform, because it's always going to be giving you insight and intel. We're enhancing it on a daily basis. And to be honest with you, like, remember, you're paying for the credit monitoring, which is what's giving you the credit report. This platform is free. So it's always going to be evolving. It's always going to get better. So, we appreciate your time, to be honest with you.
I
And
appreciate you guys. Thank you. This
yeah,
has been
and,
phenomenal.
and thank you, brother. I'm like, and like with anything, financial literacy is important, but this will get you closer and closer to being more understanding of your profile,
Absolutely.
and teaching you like what to look for. And then obviously coupled with Dimitri's insight, if you ever have any questions, we have a standing call every Thursday at 8 p.m. We do a live Zoom where we literally answer questions in real time for anybody. You don't even have to be a client. You can literally come on and ask a question about your profile. We pull it up, you show us, you share your experience, whatever the case may be, and we'll talk about it, because we're that confident that eventually folks will leverage our tools to help better their and take back control of their credit. And that's ultimately the goal, is we want folks to be able to have a lot more control and not rely on other people.
Awesome.
Okay?